You've got up, you kept going, that was in there. I think they know the writing's on the wall. Maguire, Senior, back to Maguire. Gary Maguire for Leeds. The young hero to win the grand final,
Hi everybody, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast. I've only been away 2 minutes and I'm tripping over my words, Reese. Let me start again. Hi everybody, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly sponsored by ACD&B, who are a branding and creative design agency based in Farsley, Leeds. They create standout brands. So for any companies out there that need a brand new logo or a brand refresh, just get in touch with ACD&B. I'm back, and joining me as always, he is my right-hand man. He is my co-host, but he is our stats man. It is, of course.
I'm a stat.
Freeze.
Statman Reese, how are you?
I'm tired, to be honest. didn't sleep at all last night.
Yeah,
Didn't sleep at all.
my throat.
Couldn't get to sleep. Well, mine came back about 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Mine will keep dipping in and out as we record the pod.
Yeah, couldn't get to sleep last night. Woke up at 6 o'clock. Straight away thought, oh, for fuck's sake.
What time did you go to sleep?
About 2, I think I eventually got off.
2 a.m. Oh my God.
Sat in my armchair till like 2, just going, I just can't go to sleep.
Reese is that old, he has an armchair.
28 physically, mentally 56.
56. I'm the different. I look 56. Mentally 14. I feel this podcast, listening to it obviously whilst I was away, it was too professional, it was too well done, and everybody will be possibly wincing now that I'm back to drag it back down to the gutter where it belongs. First of all, Reese, thank you. You did a fantastic job. How did you find hosting?
More stressful than normal because normally I can just wing it and turn up. You do all the planning. So it meant I had to plan. I had to do all the YouTube stuff and go, I'm there texting you while you're on holiday. Who's on tonight again? So yeah, I'm glad that you're back because then I can just come on and wing it. But then again, I was still doing all the stats this morning. And then I tried to do a sounds of the game, as you know. Yeah. But the audio on the Betfred Super League app, on YouTube, was like it was being filmed from the moon. It was dreadful. But I'm going to put that down to the atmosphere from last night as the reason why.
Yes. Well, there was atmosphere, so it can't have been the moon.
Yeah.
Get my drift.
I mean, there is a moon, though, just to put that out there.
There is, well, yeah, I'm not going into that. I'm not going into that. So this is the match review panel for Leeds versus St. Helens. Who is joining us tonight, my friend?
My drinking and hangover buddy. It's Laurie Loiner's View.
All right.
Lot Pod squad number, is it 4 or 3?
I think it's remember. 3, debatable.
He was my water boy, so he didn't get a number in my
boy.
squad.
All right, Reese.
18. He won't drop that.
I know, every time.
He just will not drop that. He chose you as the water boy. In usual cliche Lot Pod fashion, starting with the positives, even though we did get beat, I still feel this game just as I think the whole game is one great big swelling positive. But in terms of positives, Reese, what can we take from this one?
I think the obvious one is just the effort. And I've said loads of times in this podcast that all I ever want is for someone to, when they put on a Rhino shirt, is to give 110%, to give absolutely everything. We would give up so many things to be on that pitch wearing that shirt. And when you don't see players putting all that effort in and not saying, it's a privilege to get on that pitch and do it, last night, not one of them didn't stand up. Every single player was absolutely amazing in the adversity of all the injuries, putting all the effort in. Everyone had to change positions about 4 times. I had no idea what lineup we were playing at some point. So, I think the effort and the from the team and the performance was absolutely epic. And it actually was probably the first time this year we've had an 80-minute performance, technically 90 minutes, but we didn't have one half that was better than the other. We actually played probably for the first time this year throughout the game. So I think that's the number one positive for me. And then the other positive was the Old South stand back? Because I've put a poll out and 84.6% of people said that's the best atmosphere we've had since the new North and South stand was built, other than the JJB Testimonial Borough game.
I do agree with that. And I'm going to say anyway, we'll come to that in a minute. Laurie, your positives, my friend. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt there, but I won't.
The positives, well, we actually played for the badge, didn't we, last night?
I think so.
Generally thought 100% we played for the badge.
I think so.
There was a lot of players who haven't stood up for the last couple of weeks or even this season, actually played really well last night. And I actually think fair play. I think that's a massive positive. Everyone stood up.
I think, we lost. We did lose, but
can you stop reminding us of that? I know
it was the best defeat I can ever remember. I've never, ever felt so proud. To be honest, I was more proud last night, as we record this, than I was after the grand final.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm not joking. I was. The grand final, a bit apathetic in that not many people expected us to get there. Saints were a dominant force, and we played crap. We played crap in the grand final. But last night, to go down with the injuries that we did, to have one sub, the referee, who we'll come on to later, was absolutely appalling. And everything, our backs were against the wall. Everything was in Saints' favour. There was nothing for us. And the desire and the squad we had out there as well cannot be overlooked. That we had Gannon at 6, Ash was at 4, but we had Alfort's back, and I just felt, I'm sure you two are as well. We'll come to that in a minute. I am 100% all in on Rowan Smith, but watching that last night, I felt, how could anyone doubt this? What we're seeing in front of us, these players, Corey Johnson coming in and doing big minutes, James Donaldson coming in doing big minutes, players that aren't necessarily going to be here next year, playing and performing outstanding like they did. Can Reece, Laurie, can anyone, do you think that defeat, but the performance and attitude, do you think it will have changed some people's mindsets on this Leeds side, and more importantly, on Rowan Smith?
I think it would have done, but I think it still raises the question of why is it not being like this every game? And I asked myself that question. We've seen that effort for 40 minutes this season, but we haven't seen it for a full 80. And I suppose the question is, why does it have to be a response to adversity to put performances in like that? Yeah. But even in this instance, I don't think there was the adversity that brought it on. I think the adversity excelled it. But from minute one, we were on the front foot. And we were started well. So, and I think people would certainly change their minds if we come out of the blocks at Cass next week. And, it fills me more with confidence. And we're going to have no Newman. We're going to have no Gannon. But, Caesar wasn't a HIA, was it? It was a muscle injury. But we're going to be without a lot of players next week. But I'm also not that worried, because if we can do that on a makeshift side against Saints and makeshift 3 or 4 times in the evening, I'm confident we can do that next week, and I'm only confident because of the performance that we did. We could have folded last night, but they chose not to.
Do you think, Laurie, that this performance, like Reece saying there, this is a full 80-minute performance for the first time this year, pretty much. Do you think last night could feel like a turning point in the season, maybe, in terms of our performances?
They could do. There was one aspect I do think we need to, as much as we're praising the effort, there's also a couple of times when our game plan there was no finishing structure in terms of like going for 1-pointers or setting it up for that point, which I do think we possibly need to work on. But in terms of effort, in terms of strength, in terms of putting a graft in, fair play, I think. I mean, there was one point last night where, there were like James Donaldson playing on the wing because literally we had nobody. And you're like, what are you doing playing on the wing? And then you suddenly realise, yeah, we've got nobody to play there. And, it was at that desperate stages where players were just actually grafting everywhere. And it was great to see. I think, fair play, there was a real fighting spirit. And that, at times, probably in the last 10 years, well, not quite 10 years, but there's been quite a few times in the last 10 years where we've not shown that or won't show that in that sort of situation.
There's been times when we've played with a full team against far worse opposition and been beat.
Yeah.
And last night with one sub and the injuries that we had, to probably come on to later. I kind of touched on the team sheet a little there. One surprise of sorts, especially off the back of his confirmation, pretty much. I think it's all but confirmed. Even Rowan's kind of spoke about Sam Walters. Sam Walters did start. First of all, Reese, in terms of Sam Walters being pretty much a Wigan player, do you think we should be playing him? Do you think he should be playing for Leeds Rhinos?
On last night, I'd be knocking on his door and going, have you put pen to paper on that deal? Because I'll be putting another 10k on it or whatever. Because now I know Walters is a Wigness boy, so they don't like say LNC, and his two best performances this year have come against Saints, but that guy was a man possessed last night. That's why I put a half time going in, obviously in jest. This Walters kid is good. We should probably sign him to a long-term deal. But I said in our group chat, it was a bit like Barry's going to get you. I couldn't take my eyes off Walters last night because he was either going to do a great carry, he were going to whack someone, or he was in the face having a go on the wind-up constantly. And in that mentality piece, I couldn't take my eyes off him. He was absolutely everywhere. I mean, his stats prove that. I was a bit worried they wouldn't after I saw Holroyd's stats because I thought Holroyd was immense. But Walters was 17 carries, 114 metres, 5 tackle busts and 44 tackles. Yes, he made the one mistake with the offload. You wouldn't complain about that if it was on the last tackle. It was a shame it was on the first from the scrum. But yeah, if that deal's not done on the dotted line, if I'm Gary Everington, I'm just going, come on, here's an extra 10, please.
Laurie?
Yeah. He was phenomenal, wasn't he? He's that sort of forward who literally he were inspiring others around him, I thought, last night. They were almost geeing up the rest of the pack to go forward. And I think that is it was a big performance last night, and we needed that. There were times last night where we just needed somebody to drive the ball forward, kill them down the middle, and he did that so many times last night. It was brilliant to watch. I would offer possibly a little bit more than just 10 grand to encourage him, I think.
But with what you're saying there, Walters and Holroyd was immense as well.
Yeah.
But they set the bar, which meant when Sangarei and Aledzki come on, that's the bar that was set.
Yeah.
So like you're saying, they set the bar for the props, and the props carrying, like if you look at the numbers for the carries, they've been 7, 8, 9, 10 a game at the moment. Last night the minimum was like 12, 13. I think obviously Walters did 17, Mick did about 12, 13. The props actually wanted it last night, but I think, like you say, it was led from the start from Holroyd and Walters.
I think he's signed for Wigan. I think that's a given.
I've got one more point on this, by the way, actually. It should be illegal to have 2 6'7" props in a side. And therefore, with Wigan having that in Sember, who looks absolutely insanely good at 18, who is also 6'7", shouldn't be allowed. You can't have 2 6'7" props because otherwise they're just going to like that to each other. Right? That is just officially cheating.
It's classic Wigan.
Yeah.
Cheating again. I can't help but feel, right, that we in Sam Walters playing for us all we're doing is developing a Wigan player.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've got a choice though. We need to get momentum from somewhere. We need to start winning games and putting a run of games together. A player like that is going to help us.
If when if he plays like he did last night up to the run into the grand final, I'll be okay. But it just leaves a sour taste because I love Leeds Rhinos. I love Leeds Rhinos. I love the blue and amber. And I don't know whether it was us. Does anyone know whether it was us not giving him the terms he wanted? Whether it was a decision Sam wanted to be closer to Wigan? I don't know. I don't know what it is. But what I do know is it's highly likely he is not playing for Leeds Rhinos next year.
Mm.
Now, to me, that would mean goodbye.
Thing is, though, we're still paying his wages, though, aren't we? What are you going to have him do? Sit on the bench? I just feel like when you've got the talent there, you've got to use him, haven't you?
I do kind of, like I'm saying, it is goodbye, but then you're both absolutely right. When he plays like he did last night, it's like, well, I'm just being honest, it does leave a sour taste in my mouth. And when I saw him on the team sheet, when I saw he shouldn't be playing for us. If he's leaving, all we're doing is developing a Wigan player. And I don't want to do that. I hate Wigan. We all hate Wigan. I want Sam Walters to go to Wigan and be absolutely shit. I do not want him to be playing like he played. None of us do we? And if we play him for the rest of the year and he just, says adios and then goes to Wigan and plays for them for 6, 7, 8 years and becomes an international, etc., I'll be like, why did we develop him? We could have slowed that development down by a couple of months.
Such a cynical fan, you.
Look, I'm going to say this is just.
I believe in this more than someone.
But the thing is, judging by Rowan Smith's team selections anyway, Sam probably won't start unless we play Saints again this year. So, so I don't think you have to be worried about that much anyway. But yeah,
but you kind of did touch on someone who, to be honest, I know Reese and Laurie, particularly Reese, were just waxing lyrical about Sam Walters. Rightly so. He had an awesome game. Tom Holroyd was an absolute monster. I mean, in Tom Holroyd, we kind of said at the start of this year, back end of last year, we knew that he was coming back into the fold as a first team player. And everybody on this podcast, not just me, everyone who featured pre-season said, this is a massive year for Tom to come in and show us what he's got. Jesus Christ, Laurie, is this guy showing us what he's got? Because currently, and unless someone picks up from this moment right through to grand final, Tom Holroyd is going to be our player of the year, I think.
He's an absolute machine, isn't he? I mean, give him the ball and he will literally, that's it, he goes. And we've missed that sort of forward for the last 2 to 3 years. Yeah. We have missed that sort of player. A player who provides passion, drive, basically takes no shit. He does it. And we need him fit for the rest of the season. If we lose him, our forwards are just literally like, what? You kind of go, what are we going to do? But he's such an asset to us. And it's almost like I'd be going, right, Tom, do you want an extra new couple of years on your deal and a few extra quid? Because he's that good. He is that good.
It's getting scary because each game is getting better and better and better. Yes. And, we've seen things from Tom Holroyd this year we haven't seen before. Like, I know we joked about the step he made one of the games this year, which props aren't really meant to be doing. Go on, remind yourself you're a prop, Tom. But at the beginning of the year, I'd have said Nene was probably going to be the player of the year. But Nene's kind of sort of maintained that very good level. Nene doesn't have a bad game, but Tom is just getting better, better and better. I've said all year, my favourite bit about him is when he hits the contact, he drives the leg forwards. Yeah. He always makes us start the next tackle on positive momentum because he always finishes the tackle going forward. But he just overskills the pass to Sangarei for that, what probably should have been a try, which was prop forward play in poetry in motion. And then the hit he put in on Walmsley in the golden in extra time was huge. And he maxed up. He wanted Walmsley. He set his sights on Walmsley last night. And I mean, I thought we kept Walmsley quiet, but he still had.
He chewed Walmsley up. Are you kidding me?
He had 233 meters last night in Walmsley.
Chewed him up.
I can't speak enough about him. The hits he put in, the work rate. He didn't make that many meters, weirdly, but he is just getting scary. But he has surpassed any expectation I thought he would do this year.
Can I just point out, I'm going to take a little bit of credit because at the end of the Saints game, well, hang on a minute, right? I'll take credit for this. Totally Wicked Stadium, he came over to the fans, and I just went, Tom, after the Saints game, I went, literally, mate, that was brilliant. You're going to have a class year this year. And he went, thanks, mate. Shook his hand. I'm taking full credit.
Laurie is 100% taking full credit for how awesome Tom Holroyd has been.
You're not having that, Reece. You're not having that.
Bullshit in my entire life.
It's genuinely true. I can hold my hand up. Genuinely true. That
no, I'm not doubting it happened. I'm just not giving you the fucking credit for it. I'm giving it to Tom. Sorry, I've sweared far too much tonight. Sorry. That's my first beer. I haven't even got to Liam Moore yet.
We'll come to him. Something going back to Sam Walters. I don't know how Sam Walters didn't score that try. And now I know some people could say he did score the try, it just wasn't given. But in that kind of movement, how tall is he? He's 9'2".
6 foot. Yeah, 9 foot.
Why is he not pulling out his arm and just finishing that?
Well, no, because he's I don't know who it is, but someone pulls his arm back as he's sliding over. It's great defense, to be fair. I'm not sure who it is. But it was very good defense to pull his arm back. But my question about that was, why wasn't it our ball? Because if he didn't get over the line, or did he lose it?
He lost it, yeah.
Did he lose it? Right, okay, never mind. I'll shut up.
Lost it.
Another player I want to talk about.
Go for it.
Dono.
Massive game.
He were tackling absolutely everything last night. I mean, he shouldn't be running the ball in. He should never run a ball in unless because he's not. Have you noticed he's not got one penalty this year for a head-high tackle? I don't understand how that. I don't understand this. He's lost his only asset to us in attack, but in defence, he was awesome. You know, he tackled Walmsley on his own probably once or twice, I reckon.
Yeah, that's because Walmsley's rubbish.
But yeah, he made the most props in one game out of any prop so far this year.
Yeah, that's an error.
But you know, someone that we dig in sometimes about Dono. But I thought Dono was great. But we could do that about every player last night.
Is that the first? Is that the first Leeds game in how long has Donaldson been here? 4 years.
Nah, there'd have been other games, but I believe in giving credit where credit's due, and Dono deserves some credit for last night.
He played well, but everyone played well.
Myler played.
Myler had a good game. I don't know who finished in the halves. I don't know who were playing in the halves.
Who was playing halves? Because
Cam,
I thought Cam was playing halves, and I realised Cam wasn't on the pitch. But Corey was on the pitch, but playing hookers, and I thought, well, Jared must be playing loose. Then McDonald was playing centre at one point, and I just no idea. Like, I honestly had no idea.
It just turned into a bit of a let's roll a dice, and whoever gets it goes forward, didn't it? At times it was brilliant.
The injuries, it was like 3 injuries in 10 minutes, 12 minutes, if that.
And any time anyone went down after that, the crowd were going, oh,
it was so brutal. Because. And then even after that, we had, I think Hanley got cramped, Holroyd play the ball, and Nene went down. Everyone's just going, gee, we're not going to have anyone out there.
Let's go back to Holroyd. Let's go back to Holroyd. How the hell did he get back on that pitch? Because he didn't look like he could put any weight on it. Because he looked like he kicked out and then he pulled his hamstring. But then he came back on the pitch, and I thought, how has he come back on?
And he came back on because he was so adamant that he was going to hammer Alex Walmsley again.
But he looked good, didn't he, when he came back on? He actually looked class.
Look better.
Yeah.
It
was about to Space Jam water.
On the injuries, you can't help but feel for Newman, can you? The guy has the worst luck in the entire world.
Can I be brutally honest? I don't even think I can talk about it. I'm so unbelievably heartbroken that this has happened to him. I cannot.
It was really sad for him.
Devastated. Now, I didn't see anything in terms of him. I think Sky showed some pictures of him, and he was really upset. I didn't see that, and I don't want to see it. I am truly heartbroken that this has happened to him again. I can't fathom it.
Because I don't even think this is a recurring. I don't think this is an injury that he's done previously. This sounds like, from what has been said, it sounds like a completely new injury. But just the guy, the kid. Just has all the talent in the world, and it's so. And the bit I'm most upset about, if anything, is that obviously he did get criticism last week, and I was one of those that did give him criticism, but never would I wish for that to happen to him. And I just feel like it was just horrendous luck.
There's never a good time to be injured. There isn't. But
no,
I mean, last week with the incident in the cup with not passing to Myler, and then to come back this week and then get injured, because he did get pelters last week. He did, and this was just the wrong time for him to pick up. Like, it's just sickening, and I'm devastated. And just on the Bevan French thing, obviously this is my first podcast in 2 or 3 weeks. If Harry's listening to this, I don't know if he is, but what Harry should do if he's in that situation again, and he has the option to pass, Harry, don't pass, because every fullback now is going to assume that you're going to pass. So now you have to double bluff. Don't pass, dummy.
I think that's a triple bluff now, because he didn't pass twice, so it is a triple bluff.
Don't you dare pass, Harry Newman. Next time that happens, don't you dare pass, because every fullback in the land now is going to expect, he's definitely going to pass it because he got pelters. Dummy, double pump. He'd be in for the try. So Newman got a bad one, and then we lost Caesar and Gannon.
I mean, Paul's saying he saw Gannon get into his parents' car on crutches, which might just be cautionary, but he didn't look good either because he couldn't put any weight on it at all.
I mean, the squad was quite patched up anyway, so even we'll kind of touch on Cass further down the line, but what kind of team are we going to have for that? I mean, we're going to be...
Reece, are we getting our boots on?
Well, no, me and Eddie are the halfbacks. You're water boy, remember? You can come bring me and Eddie water.
We'll just have to call Danny Maguire.
At half time, I might need more than water. I might need a pint.
Is that what we're calling you now?
Yeah.
Get Danny back.
But, yeah, I mean, look, technically, was Myler our fifth halfback option then? Is that where we're at, a fourth now? I'm trying to work it out.
Austin sees
Gannon was third.
Field. Yeah, Myler's fifth, I believe.
Fourth, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Gannon didn't look good either, which, for a kid that came back. Like
another one, that's come back from a long term and thingy. To be honest, I don't want to see Aidan Caesar play for us ever again, whether it's fit or it's just one of those. I don't want to see it. He's not the only one. I don't want to see Zane Tetevano, but part of me was a bit devastated that I did go on holiday because I really would have given Zane Tetevano after that red card. I'd have given him both barrels. I might do it in the mailbag, which is coming back this week. Let's talk about the referee performance. I kind of touched on it and gave a little bit of my view. I've never on this podcast bagged a referee before, even incidents we've had previously. I've been like, no, they do have a tough job. Liam Moore's going to get it. Laurie, how did you feel about the referee's performance?
There was, well, put it this way, Saint's got a lot of 50-50 calls for me. Some very dubious 50-50 calls. They got away with murder a few times. I don't know how they got away with it. And yeah, if we did anything, we were getting pinged. It's one of those, isn't it? You get them. You get those sort of games.
Is this... Sorry, Reece. Is this... we'll come on to the red card in a moment, but is this karma for Leeds? Do you think Sam Walters should have been sent off earlier in that first game?
I don't see... Saints fans will see it that way, and they can look at it whatever way they want. Quite frankly, I don't care. With Liam Moore last night, it felt a bit like whoever shouted the loudest got the call. It did feel a bit very appealing. Even us, we had one in towards the Easter Carnegie stand where it was a high tackle and Leeds went over and Myler went over and appealed to the touch judge, and it only was given because the Leeds players were appealing. There was a couple of we did some high tackles and Ty Ritson towards the end of the second half that just weren't given. Like, we definitely clobbered him once in the south stand, and I'm surprised that wasn't a penalty. But it just felt like whoever appealed the loudest got the call. So I'm not going to say he caused the game, because I think we had opportunities to win the game ourselves. But there are certain calls that really do annoy me, like the Sangarei penalty. Like, he didn't really. There was an instance off the ball for they did, and we didn't get a penalty for it. And that one, is it a penalty? Probably not. Rowan's talked about the ruck speed and the control of ruck speed all year, and he's not been happy with it. And that's not consistent in Super League. Never mind just in the game last night. But obviously, the incident in question where McDonald does get a red, I just don't understand. I've watched it about 10 times this morning.
There's no punch.
A punch for me, you can quite clearly see someone retracting and then putting an arm forward. The only punch I can see is Curtis Suriname.
There isn't a person, there isn't a living being, there isn't a living species on the fucking planet who saw a punch apart from Liam Moore, that touch judge. I have no idea. I don't know what they're doing. Don't know if they were on piss prior to the game. Liam Moore lost control of that game. It was the first time I have ever seen a ref. He lost control of the game. He was not in charge of that game. Every time Alex Walmsley, it felt like Alex Walmsley got tackled and then stood up and went like that to him.
Oh, he moaned every time, didn't he?
And then he went, "Oh yes, that's a penalty." And Jesus Christ, offside. Oh my God!
But he wasn't giving it for both sides, to be fair, because we just started doing it ourselves.
I sit to the far side of the south stand, to the right hand side. So on that, they were so offside. It was driving us all nuts. And then he never gave one of them the second Leeds one on defence. That it blew up, and we're like, "What is he on about?" And then there was that tackle when Holroyd, I think it was Holroyd, was on his back, and they just held him down, just blatantly holding him down. Yeah. He's on his back, and then he gives Saints a pen, and you think, what is he? And then when it came to the red card, this is why my voice is a bit knackered. Now, for me, I in terms of players kind of sledging and goading other players, I don't like it. I think it's...
Everyone was doing it, and I was loving it. I thought Sam Walters was doing it. So Sam Walters got a bit of his own medicine at that point.
Well,
let's put it out.
Perhaps, maybe so. Now, in terms of me, if you going into the tackle and a player knocks it on, I prefer it when you can go and cheer, but just don't do it in the face.
Yeah.
You know, cheer and like go to your teammates like they do and give each other a pat on the back. That's fine. But to kind of rub the heads and
that's out of order.
It's out of order. And even as a Leeds fan, if a Leeds player does it or did it, I don't like it because, like Reece says there, it's going to come back and bite you in the fucking ass because you are going to knock. Or when you do make an error, and it kind of plays on your mind. And anyway, but. We've waxed lyrical about Johnny Lomax loads on this podcast saying how good of a player he is. Sam Walters really must have fucking goaded that Saints side so bad. Because when he did, was it the offload when he got...
It was the offload,
Lomax got right in his face for thinking. I mean, Lomax needs to grow up, doesn't he? How old is he?
Well, Sam was doing it as well, but I just like the fact that McDonald had his back and was straight in there. And let's get something straight. Something's clearly happened to Lomax because the white bit in between his red V was no longer white; it was red. So something has happened to Lomax, but there's nothing that proved it.
It's he could have snapped his fingernail or something when he grabbed hold of someone, snapped a nail. The thing is, right, he did have a lot of claret, a lot of blood down his thingy. But if McDonald's getting sent off for a punch that wasn't even thrown, then and if he gets a ban for it, then James McDonald should be allowed to meet Johnny Lomax in a car park and punch him square in the nose. And then that's fair. That's fair, then.
At least if you're going to get a ban for it, like and then full Holroyd.
Everyone on the planet would agree with that. Everyone would say, yep, that is the correct decision. Even St. Helens fans would say, well...
Surely.
Is that not fair?
Well, this is the problem with the match review panel process now, because if they see that there is no punch, then they're overturning a referee decision and not backing their own referee. And if we appeal that, full well it's getting extended for our reverse appeal because we can't appeal. We don't have a very good record on it at all.
But surely they've got to have actual video footage of the punch.
Yeah, doesn't exist, Rory.
Yeah, exactly.
The moon landing. It never happened.
So when it comes to the disciplinary, if they even go, "Oh, you've thrown a punch," I'd be straight there going, "Prove it. Prove it.
Show us the punch."
Yeah. Because I'm too far away to see it, so I couldn't see anything.
Like Reece said, though, James McDonald's going to get banned. He is. There's no way they're going to go against Liam Moore and whoever, because if they did overturn it and say, right, he hasn't thrown a punch, they have to go after Lomax. They have to say,
they should do.
This stupid bastard here caused all this. I don't know if he's picked his nose, if he's got a blade under his stupid scrummer and cut himself to create this blood or however it came about. And then they'd have to go after him and say, right, you're getting banned.
It might not even be his own blood. It could have been anybody's that.
Yeah, it could have been. What it's Suriname who punched someone.
Yeah,
it looked like he did, to be fair. But if you look at the footage after when McDonald gets called over by the referee, he points at Lomax, going, "I didn't do that."
And then when he sends him off, Donaldson says, "A red? What are you on about? A red?"
Yeah.
At that moment, I just exploded.
For me, that wasn't the worst decision, though. The worst decision came after, in the Metalti yellow card. Now, whether it's a yellow or red or
not,
this
is what I meant by him losing the game. He didn't have control of the game. Carry on, sorry.
But how that wasn't given straight away, I have no idea. That's the one that I lost my shit at, because where I was stood, I could see that clear as day, and I was fuming. And then only Liam Moore saw it on the screen and realised it was worse than it was. But that wasn't given straight away, and I don't understand how that tackle from Ataria is that. For me, that's far worse than what Morgan Knowles has done the week before. It's the most grubbiest, career-ending type of tackle.
Yeah,
Alensky's leg bent underneath him there. That could end someone's career.
That was the moment whenever, because obviously you can see it on the screen. I'm watching it on the screen, and you can kind of see, like Reece said, Liam Moore is watching it on the screen. And I said to my friend, he has to send him off. He can see it. He knows exactly what he's done, and he has to give him a red card for that. It's disgusting.
It makes a difference in the game because there was less than 10 minutes left, but it means that when it comes down to the ban in future, because it's not a red, that he won't get banned as much. But that's worse than Morgan Knowles. That is, if I don't know what his record is previously, that's 4 or 5.
It's disgusting. He's one of the worst players in the league.
But the worst thing is, I've seen Saints fans going, but he's started above his knee, so technically it should
That's St. Helens clips.
Yeah, which is now.
That's why I couldn't go to sleep last night, because that was making me proper fucking angry. Sorry, I've got lost it there. How anyone can defend that tackle is just beyond me. I mean, that guy's actually deleted his account now because he got a load of crap for it. Because he tried to defend Knowles last week as well, just so he can get some clicks. Yeah, I know. But yeah, so look, I don't think more cost us the game, because I think we should have gone for 2 with 5-6 minutes to go. I think we had. No, did we have a penalty? I think we did have a penalty. Did we have a penalty?
Yeah, we missed it.
Yeah, we should. No, not the Reece Martin one. There was one with 10 minutes to go. I think we had an option to go for 2 points, and we didn't take it. And then also we didn't go for the one at the right time. So I think we could have won that at an earlier stage. But I'm not going to critique any players saying that we lost it because of them.
No, and it wasn't. Liam Moore didn't cost us the game. We had our chances. We had the Sangarei try was a try that got chalked off. The Walters try.
Conclusive about that footage.
Nothing.
Because the angle they showed from behind it was completely different.
Yeah. Nothing. It was a try. And you know what it was? I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was an amazing take from Justin Sangarei. Oh my God.
What annoyed me more, like I said, it was prop forward play in poetry in motion. That is just my idea of what prop forward should do. Break the line, someone's there on the shoulder, the other prop's going through. It was really good play. And what really annoyed me,
rugby league.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Sangarei was the Sangarei from the beginning of the year, by the way. That was probably one of the best performances we've seen from Sangarei, probably since game 2 or 3.
He had a run in the second half where people were just coming towards him, and he was just swatting them off, just going,
swatting Wellesby away, didn't he?
Get out my way, get out my way. And I was just like,
and then he knocked on.
Yeah, knocked on. But that's the raw potential. But we are seeing glimpses from Sangarei. We're seeing more than enough for us all, aren't we, Loz, to kind of say this guy is going to the top. Do you agree?
I was walking home after the game last night. My friend was like, "Oh, if only he put his defensive effort into his attacking effort." And I thought that was a bit harsh because he saw that run, and I just thought his run was superb. I mean,
he made some good hits though. Like he made Walmsley knock it on once, didn't he?
Yeah, and he is as a defensive unit, he's class. I actually think he's getting better more as a defensive unit than attacking. But if you look at him last night, because let's be honest, we had to get more out of him last night because of all the injuries. He actually seemed to play better as he went along, and I generally thought, fair play to you. You've actually put on a display here which has made everyone go, "Wow, okay, you can do quite well when when you're actually on the pitch without, so fair play. There's a good future for him, I think.
He's going to be an awesome player. Ginny said in our YouTube comments, why didn't we try for a drop goal? Genuinely baffled by that.
When I saw Ash Handley lining up for that drop goal, I thought, well, this is going to go one way. And it wasn't the way I was in. I thought it was going to go completely to the right. It actually went to the left. It wasn't going to go forward. Let's put it that way.
Me and my friend were like, who's going to take the next one? It's like, Reece Martin, give him a go.
Yeah. It was giving me full... Was it Huddersfield 2 years ago or last year? where it went to golden point and no one could kick a drop goal for the life of them when we ended a draw. And I think Hull at Magic Weekend 2 years ago as well. That was really bad. I was full on expecting that the drop goal would have been like, remember Brad Dwyer's against Cass where somehow it made 40 metres and I still don't
flew.
Ginny, where was Dwyer when we needed him? Literally, as I said that. So, yeah, I didn't think anyone. Milo was probably our best option for a drop goal, but I mean, if we're talking about drop goals, James Roby.
Oh God,
poor Lewis Dodd. I mean, he didn't have one pass to him. I mean, 3 of the passes Lewis Dodd went behind him on the ground.
He really did have some shockers last night, didn't he?
Yeah, but you've got to take into account that I've said this before, but the pure neglect of St Helens playing James Roby. I mean, the guy's 81 years old.
81 now, is he?
He's 81. I mean, let him retire. It's just, someone has to be. He must still have a relative still alive. I mean, I know he's incredibly old, but someone must be. You must have someone to take care of him to kind of, I don't know if he still has the mental capacity to make any decisions. He's that old. So someone's got to say to St. Helens,
You're going to have to start playing him in red shorts, aren't they? So, those, like the do not tackle shorts that they have to put on. They're going to have to put them on him, I think.
Carry him out with a warden. You're okay, James. It's Leeds. I said it's Leeds Rhinos away tonight, James.
Yeah.
I love the play that we do now. Myler took the kick early over to Martin. That's quite clearly now in our playbook. It's usually Blake Costin that does it. Are you loving this attacking kind of go for it philosophy that Rowan still seems to be having as play, Loz? Do you think you're loving that kind of style?
It's mental, isn't it? That when that happened last night, I was like, what are we doing? And then it was like, yeah, that worked a treat, lads. Well done. I didn't expect that.
That kick was called for by Aledzki. Aledzki is behind the St. Helens defensive line, literally pointing.
Yes, he was.
That way.
Yeah.
And I'm again, I'm looking at Aledzki, what's he pointing at? And my mate goes crossfield. But it was Aledzki that was calling for it. He was in the St. defensive line at the time.
Who was the other one that were doing that? Because both of them did it. There were 2 of them giving directions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that's it. That's the moment, but obviously it wasn't. But I love it. And, we are much better when we attack from deep. I mean, obviously the first try came from attacking from deep. The second try was from a kick from a 50-metre line. But, I mean, the first try was fantastic. Reece saw Conrad Hurl in front of him and go, I know this guy's a bit slow and he can't turn, so I'm just going to turn on his inside. I messaged Johnny Lou straight away going, that's why we got rid of Conrad Hurl. At that point. But
he seems to be bigger than ever, Conrad Hurl. Yeah. Oh, wow, I thought his belly.
I am really sorry, Conrad. I called you a fat bastard so many times last night. He was singing and marching on together when he came on the pitch at the beginning of the game, by the way. As he walked over to the south stand, you can see him singing it. And then the second try as well. Makinson screwed that up. Because I don't think Sam Walters stops, he'd have gone straight into Wellesby. But because Makinson ran in front of him, he completely set it up.
Well, Makinson was being a dirty twat, wasn't he? Kind of covering him from thinking. And it backfired. Backfired perfectly. Fired straight into his face. Have you got the stats for us, Statman Reese?
I do. Right. Right. So team stats. We had 351 tackles, 60 marker tackles, which meant we had 411 tackles. We missed 30.
That was just Jared O'Connor.
Just Jared, yeah. Missed 30 tackles. So we missed 6.8 of tackles attempted. 210 carries, 1,338 meters. Average gain 6.4. Tackle bus 48.
Wow.
Clean breaks 3. Errors 15 and penalties 6. Saints missed 10% of their tackles. But they did also make 1,611 meters against us. Apparently, we made more errors. They made 13. I don't seem to recall that being the case. We apparently made 2 more errors than them, which I found a bit strange. For us, it was the second highest tackle count of the year. And it was also the second highest tackle bust count of the season so far. Number 1 of the season was actually against Saints in round 3. So our top 2 performances for tackle bust were against St. Helens, which also means St. Helens' top most missed tackles, 2 most missed tackles in games, is also against us, which is quite interesting. So let's go back to that. So Saints have actually missed 9.3% of tackles this year, which makes them the second highest in the league. But for them, they also, I'm just looking at other things. So it's the most meters they've made this season, fourth highest of the league so far. But I'm trying to look at everything else that they did. They only made 12 kicks in the game, which was their lowest by. The next lowest was 26, which shows that they just weren't completing sets.
No, I won't get in there. Yeah.
Meters, 5 players over 100. Reece Martin led the way with 185. McDonald, 181. Aledzki broke the 100 barrier for the first time this year with 128, which surprised me a little bit, considering that Holroyd got about 57, which I wouldn't expect Holroyd to do less than half than Aledzki did.
No, I won't.
Alfort's 121.
Wow, didn't expect that either.
And Sam Walters 114. Tackle stats, O'Connor led the way again, 55. Holroyd was second with 49. Cam Smith 46, Walters 44, and then Donaldson 40. Regarding tackle bus, only one player didn't get one.
Can we guess?
Yeah.
Is it
Donaldson?
No.
Alfort's?
No. Come on, he was barely on the pitch.
Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar. So McDonald had 7. Alforts and Walters had 5 each, and then Martin and Sangarei had 4 each as well. So that's the key stats, the key takeaways.
We kind of briefly touched on it earlier about the crowd. What was your poll result? Sorry, Reece, have you got that?
Yeah, I asked everyone, was that the best you've heard the South Stand since it was rebuilt? And 84.6% said yes. Now, the caveat being other than the JJB testimonial Borough game.
Yeah.
But yeah, 84.6% of people said that's the best they'd think the South Stand's been since it's redone.
I agree with that, but I mean, and we did lose the game, as I keep saying. I don't know why I keep reminding people about that. It does feel like a bit like a win, to be honest. I feel like there's times, Loz, when the crowd, the old South Stand was always there. It was always vocal. It was always amazing. But the new South Stand and the crowd, they kind of buy into. The players have to convince them to kind of buy into them, if that makes sense. And last night,
I agree. Yeah.
Last night felt like the whole stadium was pretty much bouncing because they made us believe. It's almost as if this new era, this new stadium, the players have to make us believe in them, that they're showing us the effort. And when that happens, like last night, it is so unique. Like the whole stadium kind of urging them on to get through it in the circumstances where were down 3 players and down to 1 sub. I don't think there's a sports ground or team in sports across the world that has that unique ability that Leeds has. Do you think that rings true about the team? The new stadium now needs the team. We have to buy into their performance before it kind of picks up.
I'm going to be controversial, no.
Right.
I generally think the new South Stand just loses. It doesn't have the same atmosphere as the old one, and that's mainly because of how the roof is and the no separation. The separation between standing
and that the asbestos poisoning used to give you a bit of extra volume as well.
Exactly.
Don't forget that.
Used to warm you up, yeah. But like,
made your throat really hoarse and
yeah.
all that jumping around and ground shaking. No, it did sound loud. It did sound loud last night. It really did, but I think it was one of those where the team really has to get going for it to get the ground going, which it never used to be. It used to be the other way around, I thought, where the stands would get the players going almost, like especially South Stand.
Yeah.
And also as well, what's happened to the days of the fans booing the opposition when they run out? That never happens now, does it? I mean, they used to give us a right slaver back in the day. Now it's just like, give over.
I think the thing with this, at the beginning of the year, I think it was the fans were pushing the players. But as these losses and inconsistencies started coming through and people started to turn, that hasn't happened. But then last night, and I mean, I was messaging our mate Jared just to name drop that into the conversation last night, and the conversation I was having with him was, it was every time that they did something, the crowd got louder. Every time there was a good tackle that we forced a mistake or we made a break, every point during that game, it just made that little increment each time. And it was just a reaction to the effort that was being put in by the players, added to the fact it is Saints. There is a rivalry in there. It was a tight game. It was a tense game. So I think previously the South Stand would have led the players, but I think because of how people have been changing their minds on how we feel. But I think last night was the team did something and the crowd were reacting. And I even saw I don't know if Andy Simpson's listening, but I did see on Twitter that when he was having his egg and cress sandwiches, I actually saw people in the North Stand standing up and singing during the game. It probably was Rob Oates, to be fair, actually. That's probably true. But, even the North Stand, in the Carnegie, wasn't it Duncan messaged us to say they actually joined in? He's pleased to say for the first time he has ever sat in the Carnegie stand that they were actually singing along with the chants in the second half.
We were joining in at Western Terrace. We were singing. Admittedly, there were only about 10 of us, but we were still going for it amongst the Saints fans.
Oh, that's a complete positive, by the way, that I forgot at the start. Genius idea to put smoke on the pitch at the start, which then went into the Saints fans and poisoned them. That was really good genius.
Yes.
That
Stinging
was really clever.
eyes. That's why they were crying.
Enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that.
That's why they were crying.
And Laurie, because he was in there as well.
Blue smoke, horrible.
I thought Laurie were crying just because he was sunburnt.
Yeah. Oh no, that's why I put him in the South Stand with me last weekend. He couldn't have stood on that Western Terrace.
I wasn't burned yesterday. I was all right. Factor 50 in my pocket, as you saw.
Factor 50. It was 80.
Ginny is confirming they were singing in the Carnegie. Just putting it in there.
Oh, there you go. Ginny and Duncan now confirmed. Anything else before we jump on to man of the match? No? Good. So, man of the match, Reese?
If he'd asked me at full time, I'd have probably said Tom Holroyd. But I'm going to give it to Sam Walters.
Loz?
Walters.
Well, for me, it's Tommy Holroyd. But officially, the Lock Pod man of the match is Sam Walters. Congratulations to you, Sam. It was a double header. Leeds Saints men's, Leeds Saints women. Unfortunately, the ladies' side did lose. It was Georgia Hale's last game for the Rhinos before she heads back out to rejoin the Gold Coast Titans in the women's NRL. Do you feel now that Georgia Hale's leaving, Roach, Goldthorpe, do you think this is a real... Like, at the start of the year, we all felt we had the strongest squad in the league. I thought we were going to win every game. Now these three are leaving. Do you both feel we've suddenly turned into like a transitional period?
You've got to remember, you've got Courtney in that as well. So Courtney Winfred Hill's another one. Yes. Caitlin was injured last night as well, as was Zoe, wasn't she? Zoe Hornby was injured. Mm. So there's a lot of new players in that side, isn't there? It's a shame because that team, all them together, would have been an absolute unbeatable side, and that's why we were so positive at the start of the season because we thought with that team, but at the time, Fran Goldthorpe wasn't going, and neither was Georgia Roche. That team would have beaten anyone and easily. But they're going to have to go on a journey, but they had to do it last year, didn't they? They got to the Challenge Cup final and lost, and they had to go do it all again through the grand final. So they won't be out of it. They'll still be in there, but I think it's going to be a bit more transitional than we originally would have thought it would have been at the beginning of the year.
Oh, still think we'll win every game from here. I'll win the lot. I mean, any team, men, wheelchair, when you lose three superstars, international superstars, you're gonna suffer, and you are gonna go through that transitional period. But
take Tom Halliwell and Ewan out of the Leeds Rhinos wheelchair team, and you lose a massive part of the side, don't you?
Yeah, precisely. And the wheelchair side won again. Congratulations to them. We are gonna have to get Ewan on this podcast. I think we're due a Ewan Clibben appearance on this podcast. On to Magic Weekend in 3 parts. Part 1, we are now announcing the winner of our... Are you okay? Sorry, my son's just walked in as I'm recording the live podcast. Come here.
Well, this is a podcast
here.
first.
I know, this is like an exclusive, isn't it?
Oh, you can have a cuddle. This is my son. Reese, take over.
I'll take over. Yeah.
I thought that was almost slow match.
Yeah, so Eddie is giving away a set of Magic Weekend tickets. So he has done the video for the winner, and we will do that now. So for those on Spotify, there is a wheel spinning. You cannot see that because you're listening. So the wheel is spinning a bit like Bullseye. I miss Bullseye. And the winner is Tim Baxter. So well done, Tim Baxter. You have got the Magic Weekend tickets. I'm sure Eddie will be in touch once he's put his son back to bed, by the sound of things. The second thing for Magic Weekend is, of course, the giveaway that I'm running on my page, which is for the Magic Weekend shirts. We are up to 62 slots filled of the 100. I'd love to get the 100 slots filled before Magic Weekend so that the winner can also receive the shirt. The shirt can come in whatever gender, adult, kid, size, whatever you want. So it's not a specific jersey. It'll come whatever you need it to be. Like I said, we've got 38 slots left. I'd love to get it done before the Magic Weekend so the winner can wear the shirt. It's pinned on my Twitter, which is the Owl and Fleece. So make sure you check that out. And a big thanks to everyone that's either already taken part or has been sharing it because it's been a massive help. But I'd love to get to that £250 mark for charity.
I didn't know it was any shirt. I thought it was a physical. I thought you had a physical shirt. Well, that's brilliant then.
Yeah. I haven't told Ox on that yet, but I'm just going to return the one that I bought and then just trade it in for whoever it is. But yeah, it will be for anyone. So even if I have to buy it.
Who won the
Tim Baxter?
Tim Baxter. Congratulations, Tim. Did you like the Wheel of Fortune?
I don't know why I said Bullseye because it probably wasn't Bullseye.
I like that. What happened to Wheel of Fortune? Remember it? John Leslie. Yeah. Do you remember it? No.
Probably was inappropriate, but not illegal.
Yeah. Yeah. Less said about John Leslie. I have to wonder, like, he was a half decent presenter, but then something happened and he didn't get any more work. But I'm like, what does he do now? You know? What happens when you get cancelled?
Yeah.
He might just work in a warehouse. I don't know. More on John Leslie in the mailbag, which returns. My son's fine, by the way. He just needed a cuddle. He's gone back to bed.
I think I needed one on Friday night, actually, to be fair. I didn't get one. That's probably why I didn't get to sleep till 2 a.m.
Nessa was asleep.
She was, yeah. To be fair, I was sat in the Keithley McDonald's car park crying and watching highlights and listening to Rowan Smith.
On to Magic Weekend again, the third part. We do play Castleford. Lucky us. In terms of the squad, then, we briefly touched on it earlier about, God bless him, but Harry, is Zane still missing? Please tell me he is. He's back.
No, he'll be back.
Oh, Christ. Yeah. Aiden Caesar, Morgan Gannon, XYZ. I don't know if Jackson feels going to play. What kind of squad, Reese, are you expecting for this one?
The under-18s.
That's fine.
We're signing England under-18 winger, so surely we'll be all right. So no,
and we can do that because it's only cast.
So I'm fully expecting that Luke Cooley is going to be playing fullback. It'll probably have to be Alfort's Hanley with Martin and McDonnell in the centres. And then halfback Strange because Jack's doing his A-levels.
Our halfbacks are strange. You're right.
Yeah. Jack's doing his A-levels. So and then Kevin strikes me the sort of dad that's going to go.
I thought you were going to say Kevin can play in his absence.
Yeah, well,
that would be amazing. That would be incredible.
A bit of anti-aging cream and a bit of height loss, and probably could get away to be look like his son.
Are you kidding me? Kev don't look like he's aged in.
It looks like a minute.
Looks like he's drunk from the fountain of youth.
Yeah,
but he's not 17, is he?
But he looks 25.
Yeah,
he looks younger than me.
My point is, I don't think Kevin's going to let his son play rugby just because we need him. He strikes me the sort of dad goes, your education's important, Jack. You've got to do A-levels.
Well, Kevin can play then. That's fine.
Well, Kevin's going to have to play. So I'm expecting that we might have to do Now, if Austin's back, then it's mine or Austin. But Austin was 2 to 4 weeks, wasn't it? So whether he's back or not, I don't know. So if I take it on the back, he's not back, then it's Milo and Cam Smith in the halfbacks, which then goes to be Holroyd, Aledski at prop, probably Corey Johnson at hooker, and then I'd put Bentley be back.
Possibly not.
No, so it'd be Tetivano and
God,
Dono, because if McDonald's banned and Gannon's injured, and then at loose, I'd put Jared.
Why didn't you put Jared at hooker?
Because I put him at loose.
Oh, is it loose? Right, sorry.
And then on the bench, Sangarei, kid number 2, kid number 3, and kid number 4. That's what you pick from the academy and reserves.
Might get to see Leon Ruin for the first time.
Yeah, so it's. Ben saying in the comments that Austin could be double buffing, but Austin won't be back. So it's going to be a really serious reshuffle. Now, hopefully, McDonald's appeal works and that solves the bit of a second row issue, but it'll look completely different to what was named on paper at the start of the week, on Friday night. What do you think, Loz?
I'm with Reese. To be fair, I was trying to think earlier who we could play, and it's a real minefield, isn't it? I mean, it depends on how well players come back on Monday or even this weekend. I think that's the issue. And if there's players who can do it, then fair play. But you don't want to be risking people. You cannot risk players.
No.
I don't know. Yeah. Play who we've got.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It's only Cass. Yeah.
Exactly. We are going to beat them. We could play.
It doesn't matter. They come out with that attitude from minute 1. They'll beat Cass any day. Cass are weak as a backbone. They conceded 20 points to Huddersfield, for Christ's sake. And they've got Leeds. If Leeds have played like they did and with that effort and desire, that trumps Cass any easy in any way. I'm really going to feel like I'm biting myself in the arse saying that. Actually, now I've said that. But
talking to Cass fans last week, their best player that they've got this year is Jack Broadbent. That's
really,
yeah. That's what they're saying. He's the best player they've got.
Good player. I liked him. Predictions to wrap things up here. Predictions. Start with Laurie.
28-12 Leeds.
Nice. Off the tongue. Statman Reese, how do you feel?
Well, I can actually make a real prediction now because for the last 2 weeks as host, I've been doing your predictions and how you would do it. Yeah, I've been doing the by 38 thing. I'm 24-6.
24-6.
Dono's going to get a hat-trick.
I like that. Richie Myler's going to get a hat-trick. I think he's due a couple of tries. Ash Hanley's going to score 5 tries playing from fullback, because I do believe he'll play at fullback. And Castleford will not score a point. They will be nilled. And Leeds Rhinos will score exactly 54 points. 54-0 to Leeds Rhinos. Reese, thank you very much. Sid, thank you very much for interrupting me. Laurie, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We do record this podcast live with live stream on our YouTube channel, usually on a Sunday, but tonight's a Saturday evening. Please feel free to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. If you just search The Lot Pod, that's us there. You can watch back all our specials with Frank Goldthorpe, Sophie Robinson, Danica Prim, Danny Maguire, Yestin Harris. They're all available to watch back there. We'll be back with the mailbag later this week as we record this. After a couple of weeks break, we've got a bumper edition of the mailbag coming up. I have got a couple of weeks back, myself and Reese designed a kit, a Leeds Rhinos kit. I've got all your submissions from everybody that's sent them in. So we'll bring them up and we'll do a bit of a mailbag, bring them on the mailbag this week. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for engaging on the YouTube channel in the chat. We love it. See you for the mailbag. Take care.